Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. Today I'm going to be sharing just a personal theory or thought of mine when it comes to Dragon Ball and its ever expansion into, I guess, different series and movies and just the realm of Dragon Ball in general. And why I really believe Goku's character is one of the reasons why a majority of the fandom really likes to hate Dragon Ball. Now, that might not seem up front like it's a revolutionary idea. Obviously, a lot of people, myself included, would like them to focus on other characters. You know, it's Goku's time to kind of step out of the spotlight, right? We want to see Vegeta actually get a win. We want to see Piccolo come back in a big way. A lot of the fan base, the majority of the fan base, really wants Gohan to come back in a really big, major way. And the Tournament of Power really let us all down with him kind of showcasing some new powers, or at least aspirations to get new powers, and kind of setting up those pins that they never decided to knock down, especially with all of the Saiyans in that tournament getting some new transformation, and Gohan's legitimate promise at the beginning of it that he was going to achieve a transformation that nobody has ever seen before. We didn't get any confirmation or showcasing of that ability. Now, we'll wait and see what they do later on in the series. Maybe they're saving that for something else. I mean, the Tournament of Power really set up a lot of things that didn't really pan out or anything like that. So, oh yeah, by the way, this is just going to be me just discussing, you know, just one picture classic, no real editing of the audio or anything else like that. So any mistakes or something will probably be in this video. So hope you guys are okay with that. But look, I really think Goku's character is an interesting character. Don't get me wrong. I really like his character for the series, and I think there's a lot of financial sense to continue to explore it and also focus on it, having him be the main character. But one of the reasons I think he steps on at least what fans perceive as quality is because you can't do Goku's character and you can't keep the show going without, you know, utilizing one of the most steadfast and intriguing things about his character. One of the most universally beloved things about his character really is his ability to turn everybody that he fights. You know, we've all talked about this in the fan base for a long time, that Goku is just the most selfish person in the entire world. He is a bad father, he's a bad husband, he does all of these things that end up getting everybody in trouble because he wants to have a good fight. The androids are a really good example of that. Almost everything in Dragon Ball is a really good example about that before it starts just deciding that it wants to tell its story, but Goku kind of stays true to his own motives and just who he is as a character, and we start seeing how those choices end up actually saving the world as that story goes on. I guess the same could be said for Dragon Ball Z. You know, Raditz was more of a personal thing, but I think Goku was excited to fight his brother who showcased so much strength. Obviously still had excitement to fight Nappa and Vegeta because of how much strength they showed, but there was also a need to save the world. Frieza was really more so, I want to fight this guy, he's super strong, and I've been pushing myself recently, so let's see how strong I can get. And then the android arc was literally just Goku being selfish for the entirety of that arc, besides him deciding to sacrifice himself and knowing that Gohan was the person who was going to be able to stop Cell. And then Buu was just Goku deciding, like, maybe one of the reasons people don't like that arc is because Goku just decided that he wasn't going to have a good fight because of other characters. It's kind of out of character for him, but every time he does fight somebody, like literally from the very beginning of Dragon Ball till even now in Dragon Ball Super, there's this thing that they like to do where they integrate one of the main villains of the previous arc or antagonist from the previous arc into the main cast in the next series or the next arc of the show. And that's something that, while it's interesting and while it makes us really like a lot of old enemies as our huge fan favorites, it creates this huge vacuum of important characters who become so useless in the future that no amount of power scaling or anything will make them useful for a very long amount of time. That's one of the reasons the Tournament of Power became so annoying for a lot of fans, where you have people like Roshi and Krillin and Tenshinhan being able to compete at this level that Goku and Vegeta and everybody has really just blood, sweat, and tears fought for. 17 kind of comes out of nowhere and it's competing at the top tier rank of all of these other universes, and you're like, how did this happen? I mean, I guess I understand because he doesn't really show up ever, and he could have been training and getting stronger. But seriously, like, how does that actually happen? Well, the real reason is because 17 is just a character who shows up and needed to be as strong as he was because they wanted to give him some spotlight, and this was the best way to do it. In the meantime, the show keeps expanding and also expanding its rogue gallery of characters who are now good guys that we'll never see again. And that's a big problem when you think about how big Dragon Ball is, because as much as we do like Goku, is you keep giving us all of these awesome characters like Kaba, Caulifla, Kale, Hit, Jiren, Topo, almost everyone from the Tournament of Power, all these gods of destruction, these character situations, and you hint at stories that we're never going to get, like the Planet Sadala arc or the Namekian Book of Legends or anything else, and you at the same time focus primarily on your main character and Vegeta now because he's super popular and Goku and Vegeta work so well together that you just decide that, okay, we're going to start neglecting Gohan or Piccolo or Goten or Trunks or any of these other characters who were just incredibly prominent and even more mature and thought, actually made better decisions and everything when the story decided to focus on them. But now, because there's so much else to focus on and we need to have Goku smack dab in the center of everything, we need to start making decisions and deciding writing people off. That's why we get Trunks coming back as a major big thing, but Gohan's only in one episode and doesn't really play a huge part about that. Now, I know there's a lot of behind the scenes reasons why they didn't need to have Gohan actually playing a major role in that, and it has nothing to do with story quality or the need to focus on Goku, but it's still a little annoying in my opinion that we continually introduce characters and have them switch sides or have this admiration for Goku and then they just kind of disappear into the background. And as long as the show will continue, you have to maintain that Goku element. You have to have him be true to that form of himself, because if you get rid of it, well, then you run into like something like GT. GT didn't really have a whole lot of people joining the main cast of characters in a really big way, and that was one of the major sticking points, at least for myself as a fan, that made it not really worth watching. It was just Goku, Trunks, and Pan for the vast majority of the beginning of it, going from all these different planets throughout the universe and fighting people, but we never really get to see any of those people again. And then the baby arc ended, and there was no real ramification to that. There was no real like, okay, well, now this guy's part of the crew because we just took out this dude and now, everything's back to normal, and we jump into another story and another story and another story. Goku wasn't making the same impact as he did. And even though they were trying to make it feel like classic Dragon Ball, and then eventually they wanted to make it feel more like Dragon Ball Z, it just didn't feel like either because they got rid of that part of Goku. Super did kind of the same thing, where these characters weren't joining the main cast, but it did well enough to reintroduce characters that had been forgotten about, like Frieza or 17, into kind of the mainstay characters, people we saw more reoccurring and got way more shine than they usually did, plus reintroducing old characters and giving us new characters that a lot of fans really liked and were reoccurring enough. People like Hit, he came back a couple of times, and then before the Tournament of Power, we got Kaba actually coming back, and we got more story from him. So, I guess they tried to juggle that as best they could, but when you have a multiversal situation, you can't have Goku literally jumping between multiverse and multiverse to solve a problem or just say hi to the next person, even though that would have been a really cool story. So this is, to me, a big issue, because now we're rolling up on Dragon Ball Super Broly, this new movie, and a lot of people have noticed that even though they're promoting Bulma and Trunks and Goten, that Gohan's not in the movie, or he's not going to have a prominent fighting role. Maybe Piccolo's not going to have a prominent fighting role in this movie, but the one thing they keep selling is Goku's going to have a prominent fighting role, and so is Vegeta, and so is Frieza. And what it's telling me is that any new iteration of Dragon Ball going into the future is definitely going to be focusing on Goku and Vegeta. It might even rope in Frieza, which I know a lot of fans would hate that, the consideration that Goku and Frieza are fighting together for any real reason for any particular amount of time, even though it might make sense. I'm totally fine with that. I think Frieza needs to be an anti-hero for the most part. Never a good guy, never fighting willingly with Goku and Vegeta, but always with self-interest in mind and going to do the best he can to, you know, help himself in any situation. But this movie's going to focus on those three guys fighting Broly, and they're the main selling points because they're super popular characters. But in the meantime, because you don't have a lot of time for running, and you don't need to you know, showcase everyone, you're going to forget about some major fan favorites, and people are going to keep calling foul. Where's Piccolo? Where's Gohan? Where's Goten and Trunks fighting in this situation? Why does it make sense that Boo's not there? And all these other people that fans love and would like to see explored more actually get swept under the rug in order to keep Goku gaining more transformations and all this other stuff. And that's how you get what we've seen in the community a long time coming now, is Goku is no longer an interesting character for me, and so I'm tuning out more than I used to, because I think it's time for Gohan or Goten or Trunks or anybody else to take the main center stage and have this whole franchise kind of rebooted or reshaped in a way that lets newer fans or even longtime fans explore characters that they've been wanting to see get the spotlight for a really long time. But because it is what it is, Goku is always going to be in the forefront and bringing in new people that are going to outshine everyone else. And that, to me, is a major problem. And one of the reasons why Goku is the main reason that Dragon Ball can't be a quality show. We don't have enough time to explore all of these people that his character brings in. So, what are your thoughts on this, guys? I know that was a lot. It was just kind of a rant video, in my opinion. I thought about this the other day when I was doing my live stream, and I thought, okay, well, this actually makes a lot of sense. And I've been wanting to kind of talk about this for a while, so I thought I would just throw out a video. Maybe I'll return to this concept or topic later, maybe in a roundtable discussion. I feel like I would like to get more people on here, maybe Kanji or MJ. Hopefully, maybe we can get Geekdom on here or something, just to talk about this and what it means for the future of the series and everything like that. But I think that there is something at least here to talk about and agree upon or disagree upon. So we're going to continue this conversation in the comment section below. I hope everyone who listens to this video, especially if you've gotten this far, tell me in the comment section below, but we'll share their thoughts and opinions. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.